left. Everybody must register. Have you?
Not yet.
Oh, come on.
Yes,
You're supposed to register to vote.
I am looking around all the registration centers to see the one that is applying the best of the
protocols.
Where
do you live?
And then I'll register. You know where I live, down the road from.
Yes, I know. Yes, exactly where. I want to point out the one
closest to me. Okay, so I'm literally 200 meters from Sunday.
Okay. Okay. You should have gone to. We'll take it.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. No. The media and modern governance is so important. It's been said it's the fourth estate, and before was limited in the tools, but now the tools are so enormous that it's virtually become the half estate ahead of the three other arms because of the reach. I see a situation where Mr. Domilevo is seeking allies using media reach. As to whether it resolves the core substantive matters at stake, I don't believe it adds to clarity or otherwise. What it shows up, and you have the board chair speaking, and I also think that they should have an institutional representative to engage the media other than the board chair. Board chair should probably be the last resort, because this shows institutional growth, institutional standing, institutional capacity. If indeed Domilevo is the only one who can run the audit service and finish with corruption in Ghana, then it's a sorry situation for the institution that he's led. Because to my mind, the most effective leader is the one who is able to disappear into the sunset with what he left behind stronger than he came to meet it.
Does that mean Ghana has never had an effective leader?
No, I'm saying that where we are now, the crux of his public engagement is that he, as a person, is being prevented from fighting corruption by a guilty government. That's the posture. That's the media posture. Me, Domilevo, as Auditor General, I'm being prevented from fighting government, which is corrupt. And that without me, that corruption cannot be fought. That's the public posture. And that's why you would walk into an office, it's shut, you will not listen to anybody, you walk out straight to the media and say, I have been locked out. And then it generates explanations or otherwise. Indeed, as to whether the question of security explained by the board chair is what should ride higher than his walking out to the media, there are still courtesies to be observed. It's an institution. So if you walk in and your door is shut, you can ask, and ask politely, and be responded to. And then you can go out and tell the media that I have been told that for security reasons, because I came here earlier, I am not entitled to come in and out as I wish, but that I have to take permission from somebody holding the key. But to go out and blow it up that I have been locked out of my office, it's just a way of adding to that personalization of his drama. I believe it's personal.
If you don't mind, I think it's important, Winston, I'm sure you'll agree, it's important for us to clarify that our sources in the Auditor General's office tell us that when he was unable to enter his office, he actually did go to speak to the deputy, and that it was the deputy who explained to him the reason why the locks have been changed, stating that it was to secure.
Yes, and did the deputy then deny him access?
What our sources tell us is that at that point, having been told that it is to secure the office, Mr. Domilevo then decided not to enter so that he will not be accused of having tampered with whatever is being secured.
And then he walked out into the media.
Well, I don't know which media house he walked to.
Well,
he
certainly didn't
come to us.
In the media that he's been locked out without the explanation. His version was without the explanations. All I'm saying is that the plot, the subplots around the larger plot of me, Domilevo, corruption fighter, I'm the only one who can do it, except this government and otherwise. And that is the plot that's playing out. And if that is the case, then he's left behind a sorry institution. Then he's telling us.
Has he left it behind?
Well, he's not going to last forever. Mr. Domlevo is not going to be Auditor General forever.
But is he not Auditor General now?
He is Auditor General now. He will be Auditor General until he has to leave as Auditor General. His behavior now is creating the impression that he is the only one who can be Auditor General. That's my worry. He's personalizing that office. And he's personalizing it in a way that creates the impression that it's all about him. That is my worry. It's about an institution. The Auditor General's office is an institution that ensures anti-corruption, an institution that helps the state, just like the state is not personal. The Auditor General's office is not personal. It's a creature of the Constitution. Individuals who occupy the office and move on. Those individuals have a duty to fight corruption whilst they are there. Having done so, it is the expectation, the ideal expectation, that they will leave their offices stronger and capable of carrying on than they came to meet it.
Right.
And therefore, I believe that if he has no confidence at all in anybody he's leaving behind there, and some of the previous letters when he's gone on leave, and the things that he wrote in those letters show those things up, that he would have somebody act and restrict the person from even attending meetings as the Auditor General. You see, so for me, let's step back. These matters are in the media. We are going to go in, and the next question, I'm sure Winston is too ready to ask, is about Kroll and Associates, etc. It's in the media space. It is in the civil society space. It is in the judicial space. It cannot be hidden. It cannot be hidden. If there is anything in Kroll that points to corruption on anybody's part, that points to deliberate, mischievous misallocation of government money into personal pockets, it will come out.
You sound like you know something.
That is the position Domlevo is taking. You surcharge somebody, you go through processes and prematurely surcharge somebody. The person takes you to court and says, these are the processes that you ought to have followed, which you didn't. And now you surcharge me, so I dispute the surcharge. And then you begin to use the media against that person. Even before the surcharge, you're already in the media. Now, come to court and justify why you chose to do the things you do. You avoid the court to the point where you are slapped with contempt charges. Doesn't that tell you something? Why do you want to conduct that most hallowed of services, auditing in public? It's not done. Auditors don't operate in public.
Their results, their outcomes are shared in public. There's a public account commission.
In respect of Kroll, does he have outcomes he can publish? Why was he in the media so quickly on Kroll? Does he have outcomes he can publish?
There were surcharges.
Yeah, but those surcharges are being contested in court. You understand? That's why I'm saying that the drama of it all, this impression being created that because of Kroll, the government wants him out. That is the subplot. The me Domlevo plot. The subplot, because of Kroll, the government wants me out. And I'm saying that Kroll is there, it's on paper. Kroll is in the civil society space. We have very vibrant civil society now. Kroll is in the legal space. There is going to be evidence laid on it in public. The court is going to sit in public. So there is nothing anybody can hide about Kroll. Right. So why is Mr. Domlevo riding Kroll to create the impression that he is the greatest anti-corruption fighter Ghana never had and will never have?
Okay. Madam Joyce, for you my question is really quite simple. He's on leave. What was he doing there? And why are we all surprised that he wasn't allowed to go into his office when his office is the subject of such controversy, including court cases? I mean, why are we surprised that the place was secured to ensure that there can't be any tampering?
Well, Kojo, good morning to you, good morning, Winston, and good morning to YB. Well, I'll say good morning to my brothers and sisters in Salaga South, and of course all my friends out there, and of course those who are listening to us. You know, I've actually just been listening to my colleague here make these very, very fallacious and rather most unfortunate remarks about this matter. And Kojo, to answer you very directly without necessarily pandering to all the issues that are already within the public domain, may I first and foremost indicate that each and every one of us here has at one point or the other taken a leave of absence from work, or been on vacation, or had to take a day off sick, or had to stay away from work, name it. But depending on the level of your responsibilities, the level of your obligations, you do have moments when from time to time you'd come into the office to check on whether you received some emails, some letters that need your attention, or that you've even left some documents in the office. Don't forget that most people within a certain category of responsibility continue to work even when they're on leave.
Is that a good practice, though? I mean, that
is a subject of a very personal nature. I think that to answer that will depend on the individual. It doesn't apply to all of us. You don't expect,
even when you've been asked by the president to go on leave?
For example, the Auditor General is on leave. You know there will be need for at some point to cross-check on a few things, that he will not entirely switch off absolutely, that there will be matters. Indeed, you expect that even those who are acting would from time to time even reach out and consult you. There is a good reason why you are asked to leave behind a contact, a reliable contact, an address, a telephone number, a reference point for when someone is looking for you or there's an emergency. So it actually depends on the category of individual, the level of engagement, the level of responsibility. But you see, I shudder to think that anybody, and for that matter, this particular Auditor General, would on any occasion think that if he is on leave or has been asked to go on leave, as we all know that it wasn't within his own remit that he actually requested for this leave, he was literally and figuratively forced out and forced to go on leave. It is a matter of public record. So if he were to go on leave and have a need for one thing or the other, and you go there and find that the access to the office is denied you, and now you need to seek permission from other persons in the premises to visit your own office, that shows a certain bad faith. Indeed, when you listen even to the references made by the board chairman, and I'm happy that YB spoke about that, it shows an executive board chairman. It means that he's meddling in the activities beyond what he should be doing. And I think we are spending too much time on these minors. I don't think on any day that there is any Ghanaian who is in any doubt or cahoots about what is going on here with this Auditor General in particular. Remember that it is nothing to do with him saying that there's only me to do this job. The guy, for crying out aloud, was actually away. He was on an assignment. He was actually literally working elsewhere and was asked to return here and take up this appointment because he had actually been a staff of the same institution in the past. This is one of the constitutionally mandated agencies that are tasked to vet, to investigate, to examine, above all to audit matters within the public service and civil service. It has a very wide remit or ambit. Indeed, I have heard debates being made that maybe there might be a need even to review how this independence of these bodies should actually be seen or handled. But we are yet to do that. For the time being, we've seen the letters from the highest seat of the land. We've seen the responses from the Auditor General. We've heard from civil society organizations regarding the modus, the manner, the harshness, the acrimony, the intolerance, the manner in which this gentleman in particular is being treated. It must be personal. It certainly must be personal. It actually transcends the office that he holds. Because if indeed all negotiations have broken down and it has been reduced now to a subject of banter, of letters, of words, very choice words from the presidency to the Auditor General and vice versa, that tells you that we have moved from where we talk about work ethics, we talk about responsibilities, we talk about the office to a very personal level now. You know, Kojo, I always want to avoid doing any politicking in these matters. I think that as a people, we have gotten to a stage where we need not overly downplay when institutions of government are being weakened, when institutions of government are being threatened, when institutions of government, and we have a situation where our opponents now in government actually campaigned on being the purveyors of the rule of law. They actually campaigned on the grounds of coming to secure and strengthen our institutions of governance. When you watch the conversation that has come up since this Auditor General assumed office and actually started to work, you see, in one respect, you are saying that the Auditor General is not a personal thing. It is not personal to the individual. On another hand, we have even the Office of the Special Prosecutor that has come out publicly to complain about lack of funds, about lack of resources. Kojo, you know that even the office that the gentleman occupied became a subject of public debate. Why are we not given the same leverage to the Auditor General? Why is he not allowed to independently undertake his duties and responsibilities as he prefers? And Kojo, note that even though there is a certain lawful need for every individual to at some point take a leave of absence, there are some categories of officers who even tell us, even in boardrooms, oh, I haven't gone on a break in a very long time. There's so much work to be done because of the exigencies of my job. I've been unable to take time off. You and I know that.
But what you're describing there is a weak institution.
Absolutely.
So is it the government that's weakening it, or is it already weak? If we are afraid of what will happen when the Auditor General goes on.
Are we afraid of what will happen, or they are creating the impression that we are afraid? Has the Auditor General told you on any occasion that he is afraid that if he is not in the office, the work would not go on?
Then why is this
Have we not had occasions when the Auditor General has traveled and attended meetings in other jurisdictions and business of the office has been running?
Then why is this an issue?
The issue is only because I believe, and I think let's call a spade, that government wants him out. That his activities regarding matters that affect government's whole outlook on corruption is in question. That he is actually, look, when the Malevo took the former government on, the former administration on, everybody responded accordingly. Some found lawyers to write a defense to what they had been accused of. There were many of these instances. The only time was when he got the ox of government. Suddenly he became an enemy of the state. I mean, Kojo, when you read the intent and tenets of that letter that came from the presidency asking him to proceed on leave, even that tells you that the board really wasn't working. If the board is actually working, why would such a letter be coming and signed by the Executive Secretary to His Excellency the President?
The suggestion is that Mr. Domelevo was defying the board.
That's the point I'm making. Why would Mr. Domelevo defy a board of which he's a part of? For what reason? Something must have created that impression. And sometimes there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we do not see. You do know that the board chairman actually is a former Auditor General himself.
Yes.
It does create a certain conflict situation, really. It does create a certain interest other than what we all see. And when you hear even his commentary in the aftermath of these issues, it leaves a lot for you to be desired. Look, if we want strong institutions, we must allow these institutions to work.
I know Mr. Domelevo actually questioned the work.
Absolutely.
Some of the work of the former Auditor General.
And nobody said anything.
Actually, everybody said something that was interesting to the whole nation.
And that's what I'm saying. You see, I would personally want to ask, do you expect that someone who had hitherto been a former Auditor General, who is now a board chairman, and then there's someone who has actually basically replaced him and undertaken a similar job, maybe with a certain gusto, with a certain gravitas, with a certain, extreme interest, how do you think that this will play out at the board? Because you have been in boardrooms where sometimes the executive and board chair people have almost come to blows. Note also that most chairpersons are usually people who are appointed directly by government. And so they come there ready to do the bidding of government. So indeed, if there is an executive, such as the Auditor General, who probably has issues or has gone after, for example, in the matter of Kroll, why would we not even wait to see the outcome of this matter before court? You understand? I believe that we could have even waited, see how the court determines the matter. Let's look at all the other things that have come up. I've heard for calls, for example, that we should be investigating how monies that were received for this COVID pandemic, in which we all are, have been utilized. And I believe that in some of the conversations even, the Director General had indicated his preparedness to undertake this action. Look, in the spirit of transparency, in the spirit of accountability, in the spirit of the fiduciary relationship, and YB knows these things, I think that the matters, and of course, do you honestly believe that the whole of the world is wrong? That all the CSOs who are professionals in their own right, standing up to government on this matter, that we can declare them all wrong, that their reasoning is flawed, that their reasons for asking for his reinstatement is unacceptable? Where did Domelevo go wrong, and what is personal that he's fighting for his own, first and foremost, his own duty to the people of Ghana first and foremost. Secondly, defending his professionalism. And thirdly, remember that there are also issues of reputation in this matter. When you say you lock the door because you need to protect something, I didn't hear that the police had said that the area was an area that they were collecting evidence from. That therefore there was a need to protect it.
So you talk about institutions, you talk about building institutions. So I just would want to find out, is it a case that without Domelevo, for instance, the audit service cannot conduct an audit on, say, the expenditure on the COVID-19 expenditure without Domelevo? Can't these things be done?
Or even Crow.
I mean, doesn't he have trusted persons? Because
are we saying that when you hear that government has forced somebody to go on leave, calculated at 167 days, is that not an unreasonable request?
Yes, but my question, because since you talked about there are things to be done, because auditing is done by members of the audit service. So I'm asking, without Domelevo, can't they do it?
That Domelevo, in every institution, in each of these public institutions, there's an audit unit.
Sure.
And he works through them. In fact, as he said, most of the reports that are given to him come from these other auditors and institutions. His job is just to evaluate, to analyze, and to take it up from there. So certainly not. And I believe he has never, on any occasion, indicated that he is the only one side with any responsibility or any, dispensation to undertake this exercise. But I believe that there's a certain personal battle.
Okay.
And it is a battle between the government and the individual Domelevo.
In that case,
not necessarily the audit service.
Okay, so in that case, in his absence, can these auditing go on?
Why not?
Okay.
But so that's the point I'm making. When you give someone such a letter, Kojo, you have constructively actually dismissed him. And on what grounds, really, are you dismissing the individual?
Which is another thing that is on my mind. Before we come to
be calculated and sent to an individual, and you're talking about the fact that is it because about him? It's nothing to do with him.
Before we come to you, YB, let me ask you this, because you've raised this point now. Look, if indeed they have effectively dismissed Mr. Domelevo, isn't this all a waste of time? Isn't this all an academic? So isn't this all a waste of time? Isn't this all an academic exercise? I mean, there's no argument that can be made that will result in Mr. Domelevo being returned to this office. So are we not all wasting our time then?
Certainly not for me to say. To be honest, I think that is a decision that Mr. Domelevo, in his own professional rights, can make for himself. But I am also actually looking at the conversation that has come, the issues that have been raised by many individuals in our society, key professionals, key civil society organizations. And the question I am asking, are they all wrong that these attitudes and these things that we do actually further weaken our already rather weak institutions? And to respond directly to what Winston said.
But YB, just before you respond, just a bit of a question to you also, because I saw you nodding. Now, if you believe that in the absence of Mr. Domelevo, the work can be done, and a good leader should always, prepare his, followers to work in his absence. Why then the need to direct him to proceed on leave? Why then the need to lock his office? Because in any case, the job would be done or not be done in his absence.
Yes. This is where the letter of the law is developed through conventions. I heard Counsel Joyce, let me say Joyce, let me refer to you informally as Joyce. I heard Joyce say that there are debates and discussions about operationalizing the independence that these institutions enjoy under the Constitution. Indeed, the last time I was asked, I was told in a studio that civil society would have preferred the president to mediate between the board and Dom Leveau and get him to respond to the board in a way that would not have inserted the president. I accepted it in studio. When I went back home, I thought through it and I put it out on Facebook and asked myself, what if mediation had failed?
You know that for a fact, or you're...
Yeah, it didn't happen. But suppose it had happened and it failed. Because they were speculating that instead of issuing a letter at the prompting of whatever authority, because obviously the relationship between the board and the Auditor General had broken down. What is the sinews linking that relationship? Are they set out in law? No, convention comes to our aid in those matters. So the conventions, the discussions in civil society mostly is playing out on the conventions. How do you appoint an Auditor General? You remember Dom Levo's appointment? The issues surrounding that? How do you disappoint, in quotes, if you appoint and disappoint? The provisions are there. They retire and otherwise. Prior to retirement, there is leave. Leave matter has come in here. Is he entitled not to go on leave until he retires? Should he be asked to go on leave? Take his leave? Those are issues that were being debated in civil society, and they are to do with fleshing out the law as it exists in the Constitution. You flesh out the law of practices and conventions. We need to know the ambit of that freedom. Is it a freedom to operate above the law? Should Mr. Dom Leveau be operating outside and above the law because the law grants him the right to be independent in his operations?
Have you operated outside and above the law?
Where we are going now, it would appear that, like I said, we go back to the original situation about individual and institution. Mr. Dom Leveau himself has said in public that this is the regime with which the audit service has enjoyed the most institutional building incentives in terms of...
Yes, but having said that, you've talked about how he's operated above and outside the law.
Yes, that's where I'm coming to.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming to. There is no question about resources to the institution. No question about resources to the institution. He himself has confessed that this regime is the best in as far as building the institutional capacity of the audit service is concerned. Staff, capacity building, logistics, vehicles, everything. He's confirmed that. So at what point do you want to get out an individual with whom you are working to build an institution? How many cases are supposed to be embarrassing the government that the government has to get rid of him?
Tell me.
Crow. And I'm saying that in Crow, it is a process in court. There are no cases. It's just Crow. And on Crow, he is resorted to posturing in ways that don't appear to fit in with his legal mandate. And that is...
Does that in any way explain why this is happening?
No, I think that, like I began my remarks, perhaps people have taken sides. He himself has taken a side, and he's protecting his side. He wants to go out or stay in a blaze of glory, and he's choosing to take the media on that path.
Has government also taken a side?
That is where I say the conventions have to play out. What is government to do? If Mr. Dom Leveau, a constitutional office, is in a conflict, head-to-head conflict with with its board, another constitutional creation, what does the presidency do?
Does the presidency's decision not look like it's supporting the board?
But it's a subject of a court engagement. I always want...
Although I'm still interested in the answer to that question. From where you sit,
yes,
does it look like the presidency is supporting the board in this matter?
But the board engaged the presidency's aid to help them put the thing in place if Dom Leveau was not responding to the board.
So that's a yes?
Because if Dom Leveau was not responding to the board sought aid to engage.
Does it then become significant, the fact that the board chair works in the office of the senior minister, who is the subject of this Crow matter?
The Crow matter is in public. How did Dom Leveau go about it? Did he go about it that way because it was a senior minister? That's the other question you must ask. How did he go about it? Did he follow his management letter? What were the background scenes that happened? What were the subjects in the Crow matter? Why would he go to the public media about Crow before he had exhausted the processes to do with his management letter and otherwise.
He had surcharged them.
Yeah, but that surcharge was based on what? That's why they are challenging it in court.
Yes, which is fair. Everybody who is surcharged has the right to do that.
Exactly.
But at the point where you're surcharged, is it then wrong for that information to be made public?
No, the Crow matters were public before the surcharge.
Yeah, so what exactly is the complaint?
Before the surcharge? How come the Crow audit is being conducted in public?
Was it public before the surcharge?
Yes.
I've got to tell you, I personally heard of it when they were surcharged.
Very well.
I don't know about anyone else here, but that's when I heard of it.
I have posited that the Crow report is in public. It will come out. My information was that it was being the content that he requested. He was asked to engage on. And that he wanted that content in a situation where it would have jeopardized investigations. These were forensic reports.
Right.
And he chose to go out and do otherwise. Those matters will always come out. The content, the substance, the processes which have led to where we are now will come out. Because that's the society we have now. Law in black and white. The nuts and bolts, the operational daily things are still being developed. They are evolving. So by convention, these conversations we are having will help to develop those conventions. And I am very happy for the conversations. But the nuts of the matter is that I believe that he is personalizing this relationship with the government to banish his credentials.
Okay.
And that is not fair to the office he has held.
Okay.
That office must go on as an institution. That office must have capacity to continue with any investigations that are ongoing, including Crow and the subsequent ones that will come with COVID expenditures.
All right. I'm sure you will understand when we get to the next issue and we give Madam Joyce a little bit extra time just to balance things out. Because
so much time.
Because the next thing we're going to talk about. The next thing we're going to talk about is the running mate to Mr. John Mahama. She started her campaign following the delivery of her an address at her outdooring, if you will. We'll talk about that and more when we return.
Because I'm awful. I have to go and deposit today's sales and buy some things before I get home.
Okay, but deposit money at this time. It's past 6 p.m. Which bank is so open?
My daily sales always goes to Stanbic Bank no matter when I close.
Hey.
Even without my debit card, I can still deposit my money at a Stanbic ATM anytime. Stanbic literally follows me everywhere.
Hey, wow. That's good though. Me, when I close late, I have to carry the cash on me home with all the risk.
Hey.
Sometimes even when I hear mosquitoes making noise in my ears, I it's my heart. I wake up to see if the money is still there.
Don't make me laugh.
I said that you are laughing. I'm serious, laugh.
Imagine all the 1001 ways you can bank safely without leaving your home or office. If you need any help, send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Stanbic Bank GH. Stanbic Bank, it can be.
The world is changing every day. The way we communicate has changed. But what we feel hasn't. Toys have changed. Kids haven't. The way we invest has changed. Why we invest hasn't. The way we learn has changed.
Open your screen.
But the reason why we learn hasn't. In 175 years, through every generation, we've learned that times change, but what matters never will. Old Mutual, 175 years of doing great things. Old Mutual Life Assurance Company is a licensed FSP.
Hey, Bra Kofi, your ceiling be smooth, bright and fine, Papa.
That's an understatement. It dey blink like 80 carats white gold. This be Interface plasterboard ceilings. Smooth, bright, and long-lasting. Everybody where they come here, they fill up. Where they direct them go Interface Limited for world-class quality.
If you're involved in new property development, renovation, or decoration, the right place for you is Interface Limited. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at www.interfacelimited.com.
Wait, what's going on? What's with all the excitement?
Jackie, did you see Mark's place or was it just me? I mean, did you see the decor of this guy's home and his home office? That is enough evidence of his high performance even in this work from home season. Look, have you ever received healing from just using a good chair? It's a miracle.
Oh, wow. Didn't you know? He actually got everything from Orca Deco. And it's not just that. It is so affordable.
Jackie, so you knew and you didn't tell me? I'm going to Orca Deco now. Locate Orca Deco showrooms in Accra off the Spinters Road, Kumasi opposite Breweries. Orca Deco. Best value, best price.
Hey, Ama, Missy Ne, boy be a Missiano. Real deal, package and casa. Tall, dark, pink lips, muscular with six-pack. Handsome, with designer clothes and shoes, Papebi. Girl, he wasn't playing at all. Hey, that. I was eyeing him the whole time. Sonia Mitchell, I strategically positioned myself in front of him. And then he opened his mouth and said hello. Oh, we're ready. And Capelli. Hey, oh, slow.
Don't let it happen to you. Use the new Blue Close-Up Cool Breeze toothpaste. It comes with a new minty flavor for long-lasting fresh breath. Stay fresh with Cool Breeze, because blue is the new cool. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302 218 500 or 246 142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glyco Life, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Because the greatest things are born from the smallest of thoughts. Just as your seeds in a rich soil grow to become trees that bear fruits, the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, helps you sow, invest, nurture, and grow your personal and business plans by serving you with years of banking ingenuity and experience in agribusiness, corporate and commercial banking, consumer finance, e-banking, and many more through our network branches across the country. Whatever the culture, whatever the dream, we grow with you. Call us today on 0302 210 210 or visit www.agricbank.com. ADB, truly agric and more.
The ban may have been lifted, but we're still staying safe with Samsung. And yes, home is where we feel safest. If your home is empowered by Samsung, no worries. This is your chance to get your Samsung appliances in the Stay Safe with Samsung promotion. Shop safely for the best appliances at amazing discounts and win gifts too. Samsung 40-inch satellite TV for 1,499 Ghana cedis. 55-inch smart UHD TV at 3,999 Ghana cedis. QLED 55-inch TV at 7,999 Ghana cedis with Netflix already pre-installed. A fridge to last you many amazing years of use for just 2,499 Ghana cedis. And a washing machine starting at 899 Ghana cedis with gifts like standing fans and shaving machines for that after quarantine clean look. Visit any Samsung authorized dealer, observe all the safety protocols at the shop, and get your Samsung electronics safely. Samsung, imagine what we can build.
DSTVS and the leaks that get me say the big boys are back.
Is your heart racing yet? I know mine is.
Yeah, crowd near the live sports papa Ebrel. Gigi da couch muna budget favorite stars here. Well, we are sporting leaks that get papa no nyina so.
Sergio Aguero has conspired in the final. Cristiano Ronaldo! Something special for his hat-trick goal. Lionel Messi does it. A priceless goal from Lionel Messi. Drama from day one. This is the league we want to watch.
Central Atia wo support omo no nyina wo bia ba ko pe. DSTV Live Sports fie ba ko pe.
Good morning. Wake up to the original magazine show. The Super Morning Show. Joy 99.7 FM.
Alrighty then, it's 9:05 and it's Political Thursday. Our guests Yabwabenya Samwa and Joyce Bar Mokhtari. And we've got a lot to talk about. But first, the Sports Center is brought to you every morning. Today, by the way, we're still hoping to bring it to you a bit later on the show. We meet the thing a little bit. I'll learn it by force. Oh gosh.
Okay, check it out, buddy.
Oh, you've lost me already. Anyway, the Sports Center every morning is brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Just dial *138# and enjoy bundles that don't expire. It's also brought to you by Standard Chartered Bank, here for good. So it's time to say goodbye to memorizing 1,001 short codes. Experience complete one-click access to all MTN services with the My MTN app. And check your airtime, your data, and your Momo balance. Buy bundles with airtime or MTN Momo. Monitor your data usage and calls made. Access your MTN Momo account and so much more, all with the My MTN app. Download the My MTN app from the App Store, the Google Play Store today, and get 50 megabytes of data for free. 50 meg for free just by downloading the My MTN app. So let's fight COVID-19 while doing the things we love. We're good together everywhere you stay. Okay, so your car deserves the best treat. Introducing the latest addition to the Total Quartz engine oil family. I'm talking about the Quartz 9000 Future 0W20. It is specially conditioned and developed for the latest generation engine. Our Total Quartz 9000 Future 0W20 delivers excellent engine protection and cleanliness. It increases your oil change interval while reducing your fuel consumption. So for the optimum performance and efficiency of your car, visit your nearest Total service station and ensure your car is well protected. Join the Total Quartz Nation movement now. Total Quartz, keep your engine younger for longer. So we're doing today's agenda. It's brought to you by Societe Generale, SG Ghana, the future is you, and Mala2 anti-malaria drug from Ernest Chemist, providing quality and affordable medicine. So we can only fight a common enemy with a common front. Unity, they say, is strength, and that is why the Ghana COVID-19 Private Sector Fund campaign calls on you and you and you to welcome recovered COVID-19 patients, frontline workers, and their families with love and not discriminate against them. Now, you know, with every recovered patient, we're closer to winning the war against COVID-19. Recovered COVID-19 patients cannot infect other people, so let's show love to them and appreciate the health workers. Say no to stigma and yes to love and care. Rejection and depression kills faster than coronavirus. Let's reach out in love and accept them. They deserve it even more in these trying times, okay? End the stigma. Let love lead. Now, this campaign is proudly supported by the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, Ghana Psychological Association, Ghana Medical Association, National Commission for Civic Education, and Global Media Alliance. All right, okay, so it's time for us to get back to it. And, of course, our guests, YB Asamoah and Joyce Bawa Mokhtari, speaking for the two largest political parties, NPP and NDC respectively. We've got a lot to get through, including this.
Dr. Bawumia has been engaged in a comedy of jokes and error and has not delivered on any of the many promises he made. His major selling point in 100 days, he said he had arrested the thief at $1 and handed over the keys of the cells to the IGP. Today, what do we see? We see the dollar dancing azonto on his bald head. The government, he says, his own president does not believe in his abilities and has had to set up a forex rescue team made up of 44 people, 4 football teams. He wasn't even selected. So his own party has realized that he's all talk, no act, a lot of rhetoric, empty promises. He promised you that every Ghanaian will have a bank account. Does your grandma in the village have a bank account? He promised you that truckers are going to have Wi-Fi. Dr. Bawumia has been all talk and zero action. He is no man. And look, I find it distasteful that we will even want to suggest that there's going to be a competition, or this is a competition between Dr. Bawumia and Professor Joy997FM. Absolutely not. He's not fit to lace her shoes.
Indeed,
Her ardent anti-feminist position was too obvious to ignore when she appended her signature to the petition to have the trio who had then been incarcerated at Nsawam be free against sound advice from well-meaning Ghanaians. How can a woman who hates her fellow women to this extent that she actually advocated the release of the jail trio so that they could continue to rape and kill her fellow women, how can she be given such a responsibility now to take care of everybody in the country, including her fellow women? We wonder what message candidate Mahama is sending Ghanaians by picking Professor Joy997FM as vice presidential candidate, when her stewardship in the past brought such heartache to teachers and trauma to her colleague women. While we wish the NDC well in this regard, we also wish to emphasize that we are ready to tell Ghanaians the danger she poses to our growth and development as a country.
Yes, Mr. Yalbabia Kamwade, in that presser that he held once the running mate of Mr. John Mahama was named. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about, and I see you on Twitter. I see everything that you're saying. Please keep your tweets coming through. Use the hashtag JoySMS. We're going to read all you've been saying about the Domolevu issue in a short while. We'll also read your thoughts on this topic we're engaging in right now. And I promised I would start with you, Joyce Bawa Mokhtari. So you speak for the two of them now. Yeah, you speak for John Mahama and Professor Opukwajiman.
Not an obvious job, Joy.
well, genuinely, I'm sure you do know that Mrs. Mawina Trevor is actually a spokesperson.
Is that right? Is that right? Oh, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
She's part of the campaign team and definitely is currently working for her largely. But of course, it is an opportunity I welcome any day. I will proudly speak for John Dramani Mahama, speak for Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Ejiman any day, any time. It is a job I do with enormous pride. The responsibility I take very seriously. And I do think that actually a very humbling opportunity to serve these two great individuals in any capacity.
Okay. Now, she gave a speech when she was outdoored. And let me say this, a rather well organized in terms of how it looked and how it flowed and social distancing and everything, a rather well organized launch, if you will, of the running mate. However, and we've had a conversation with Mr. James Adjenim Boateng about this. You know, he issued a statement that said that she would be giving him maiden policy statement. Is that what happened?
Well, Kojo, I do think that Mr. James Adjenim Boateng has had opportunity to clarify his statement.
And he insists that's what happened.
Absolutely. I believe strongly that in an acceptance of such a high position as agreeing to be running mate to the flag bearer of the largest opposition party in Ghana, it would call on that individual to indicate passionately and directly to the good people of Ghana what their vision is for this country. We also do know that it affords you an opportunity to formally introduce yourself to the good people of Ghana. It is also an opportunity for you to speak to matters that are of interest to you as an individual. I believe strongly that President Mahama made a bold choice, that his nomination of Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Ejiman will actually form part of his lasting legacy of leadership in this country. It is a historic story. It is actually a very novel story. It is one that actually serves as a testament to the fact that women in Ghana are actually about 51% of this population. It is also one that bears testimony to the fact that a female, a woman, such as Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Ejiman, who has achieved many individual firsts in her own right, she comes with these very sterling qualities. She comes with a certain humility despite all of her achievements. she comes with a certain depth of knowledge of this country, of what matters. I believe she spoke largely to what matters most, which is our human capital. The things that make a nation healthy, the things that build a positive nation, the things that create an impression of wellness of any nation. And I would like to paraphrase in the words of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. If there is anything that women know, any woman who has managed her home, managed her career, and managed her children and her life knows exactly how to manage a country such as ours. There are many people who watched with utter amazement. But for those of us who had worked closely with Professor Nana Akufo-Addo, who had related to her on a work level, who had engaged her in her many opportunities in government and out of government, we're actually not surprised at all that there couldn't have been a better choice at this time. And she stood tall. She presented herself in a way that even our most ardent critics will admit that this was one fantastic choice of a running mate. She is actually on the verge, on the cusp of becoming the very first female vice president of this country. It is actually more probable now than it ever was, because there's only one large opposition party in this country, and we do know that in 2021 it will be either the NDC or the NPP, and for us it should be the NDC forming the next government. One, Professor Nana Akufo-Addo, despite her very sterling academic qualities, and I'm sure today if my brother YB listened to his very rapidly put together press conference, I'm sure he would revise his notes. I'm sure he would say something else. I'm sure he would have spoken better, in better terms, in a way that his own daughters will be proud of. But I'm sure if his daughters listen repeatedly to this statement, they will probably wonder, oh, how did Daddy say that? I think that we ought to remember that we should stop paying lip service to inviting women to the table, to allowing women to participate at the highest levels. And you know, Kojo, I've had these conversations with you, that Ghanaian women have been well qualified to serve as president and any other capacity for a very, very long time. There are some reasons that actually militate against these opportunities. And I strongly believe that Nana Akufo-Addo gives us all, girls, young women, adult women, and when you look at the worldwide acclaim that this nomination has received, it tells you one thing, that this is a woman who is very well respected, a woman who has charted her own course of life. That indeed, by the time she arrived here to serve as an education minister, she had served as vice chancellor of one of Ghana's 3 public universities. Kojo, to serve at that high level in a university is like managing a whole city. So you cannot compare a person like that to those of us who have our own constituencies that we manage, or small law firms or small businesses that we are managing. This is a woman who knows her brief, who understands this country, who appreciates where Ghana has to be. She spoke about maternal mortality. She spoke about the girl child in terms of what they need to keep them in school. She spoke about the developments in math and science that will take us to the next level. She spoke largely about what would give better access. She even told us very passionately that she was actually walking through the door and would make sure that that door would be held wide open for many other women to chart this particular path. I believe that on this singular historic occasion, women have been given a very, very high voice. It is not to say that we didn't have a voice before, but I think this voice has just suddenly been amplified.
Right.
And the National Democratic Congress has, in Professor Nana Akufo-Addo, a woman well qualified to serve Ghana as the very next vice president. She brings to the table not talks or empty promises. She brings to the table passion, a certain intelligence of what we need, a certain intellect in terms of what should happen, a certain compassion for what is required, and above all, she brings a record like no other.
Right.
I think that more than anything, we should learn to respect that office. We should learn to give it the leverage that it requires. Above all, women across the world irrespective of political divide, have joined the NDC and John Mahama to celebrate this singular nomination of Professor Nana Akufo-Addo.
Thank you. We played back what you said in that first
Please, I hope he will take his words back, even if for nothing, just to show that he's the person that I know that he is.
And the part that we played back was actually what you said in relation to her signing of a petition asking for leniency for some people who had already been sentenced. Now you've seen more of her. Do you still think that Mr. Mahama was not taking the nation seriously when he nominated her? I mean, that's what you said.
Yes.
You still think so?
Yes, I stand by that. I stand strongly by that and strongly by
Is this somebody who is not qualified to be a running mate, a vice president? Is that who we're contemplating here?
Qualification and political output are two different things. You can be entirely qualified, age, your career record elsewhere, and it may make you look attractive. But politics, the art of delivering hope and generating actual substance, that hope, grows that hope. It's entirely different. And
how did she do in that regard when she was outdoors?
My speech, you will realize we conferred on her the greatest admiration for her activities outside politics. Very, very remarkable. We also congratulated her on the fact that she had been nominated, because even if they are going to lose, which they are in 2020 December, the fact that you've been nominated vice president resonates, because out of the many who may have had that opportunity, you have it. So we congratulated her on that. But we have no doubt in our minds that she is incapable of supporting the delivery of substance and hope that the people of Ghana are looking for. So we stand entirely by our view. And I think, when I listened to her, that she was cautious and her speech was influenced by her arrival on the political scene and the welcome that we gave her. Her speech was contained. It didn't come out. Compare, you just played me, you played another voice before. I was struggling to recognize the voice.
That was from George.
Okay. To be interesting down the line, if you play Baumia at his outdooring and then this speech, and because that is probably driving the media's concerns about lack of policy content, because there was no policy content. And if you are going to be supporting your leader with something beyond what he can give, then we need to know where you stand. On the contrary, again, it was skirting the reception we gave her, because she tried to go heavy on the gender thing and yet was retreating from it, because there was a lie, a palpable lie told that I had said a woman could not be nominated as vice president. That was a palpable lie, and that was what led to the storm after my speech. We never said anything like that. We never attacked women for their gender, and we've explained. Many, many women, including Joyce, are in the political space for several years. There are many, many women in my political party who have been in the political space for several years, and therefore women are capable any day. We didn't see her nomination on the basis of gender. Absolutely not. We saw it and we still see it, and her outdooring has confirmed it, that she is incapable of delivering politically. So her speech meandered through various areas. She touched on you, she touched on for something I thought was dangerous, this question of ethnicity, trying to mention different tribes, and I thought that was not on, because we are Ghanaians first now, before we are Dagombas or Gans or Ewes or Ashantis or
So you felt it was wrong for her to...
I think we don't have that problem.
To connect with...
Yes, I think we don't have that problem.
People on their own terms?
Trying to create the impression that there is a divide and that this is the time to bring everybody together.
I think it was rather the opposite?
No,
she was suggesting
the sense
that
I got.
You know, we all have some things in common. Is that not
was
rather
the sense I got? That when you particularize it that way in the context in which you was delivering it, it was more or less as if there was a problem.
I'm going to let you complete that thought, but we do have to take a break. When we come back, more from Mr. Yabuabe and Samoa, Madam Joyce, and Churchill has a question or two. Stay with us. We're back after these.
Anywhere you did, I'm big dead out.
Akosia, I'm awful. I have to go and deposit today's sales and buy some things before I get home.
Okay, but deposit money at this time. It's past 6 p.m. Which bank is so open?
My daily sales always goes to Stanbic Bank no matter when I close. Even without my debit card, I can still deposit my money at a Stanbic ATM anytime. Stanbic literally follows me everywhere.
Hey, wow. That's good though. Me, when I close late, I have to carry the cash on me home with all the risk. Sometimes even when I hear mosquitoes making noise in my ears, I ice my heart. I wake up to see if the money is still there.
Don't make me laugh.
I said that you are laughing. I'm serious, laugh.
Imagine all the 1001 ways you can bank safely without leaving your home or office. If you need any help, send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Stanbic Bank GH. Stanbic Bank, it can be.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. I'm John Mahama. The Electoral Commission of Ghana is compiling a new voter register in all parts of the country. And all Ghanaians 18 years and above are eligible to register. Whether you have previously registered or voted in an election before, you must register now to be able to vote in the December 2020 elections. The time to make a change is now. Register today to vote in December and make a difference in your life and that of your family. Your vote is your voice. To be able to vote, you must register. Register now, and let's do it for Ghana.
Accidents do happen. It could be a motor accident, a sudden heart attack, or even a stroke, or any other health emergency. The first steps you take are very critical. Should you be involved in or witness an accident, call 112 for the fastest ambulance response. With over 300 well-equipped ambulances all over Ghana, you are assured of the fastest response to your emergency call. Call 112 during critical health emergencies and save your life and that of your family and loved ones. 112, help will come. 112, we are safe. Avoid prank calls as they can lead to loss of life of persons in actual need of help. Be a responsible citizen.
Abna, why are you crying?
Why wouldn't I cry out? This has become unbearable. Everywhere I go, I'm treated like an outcast. At home, at work, at the hospital, even at the market. Is it a crime to have TB? Is it a crime to have HIV? It's better I die. Why?
No, Abna, you can't give up and die. Indeed, a new dawn has come for persons living with HIV and those suffering from TB and sexually transmitted infections. WAPCAS, in collaboration with the Ghana AIDS Commission, is shedding light on our rights so we can enjoy equal rights as captured in the Ghana AIDS Commission Act, Act 938. Rights to quality health care, non-discrimination, equal work opportunities, and education. You may call WAPCAS on 030-224-1452 or 055-6233-663 to report any act of discrimination. WAPCAS,
here for your rights.
WAPCAS and Act 938,
here for life.
This advert is brought to you by WAPCAS with funding from the Global Fund.
Be happy.
Me, I love big things. I never settle for small things. That's why I choose GoTV. With GoTV, I am always assured of the bigger and better things, especially when it comes to football. I mean, you know that. For the best football leagues are back. Super Sports on GoTV is bringing live football back. You go jump rough.
Spread the word. The big boys are back in town. Watch all La Liga and Serie A games.
Cristiano Ronaldo!
In crystal clear digital pictures and vibrant sound on Go TV. Don't slack, cra. Stay connected via any pay body point or mobile agent near you. Go TV. Live it, love it.
Syndicated Capital introduces the Silent Night range of luxury mattresses and pillows. And for the first time, the Silent Night pregnancy and nursing pillows crafted to provide exceptional relief for your legs, belly, and back during pregnancy, as well as amazing back support feeding your baby. No more sleepless nights and no more hustle with breastfeeding. Check out the Super Pillow Top Orthopedic Mattress, made with 12 inches of memory foam cushioning, providing unparalleled comfort and guaranteed to last for 20 years. No mattress comes close in comfort and support. Also available are high-quality bed sheets, reversible quilts, a large collection of orthopedic pillows and luxurious towels at unbelievable prices. Silent Night products are available at all Melcom shops, game stores, and Silent Night showrooms at Tema, Asylum Down, Adenta, Spintex Road, and Kumasi behind Menchia Palace, or call 0302-242532 or 050-131-5776. Silent Night. Sleep like never before.
We're having a very earnest conversation with our two guests, Yawwabe Samuel of the NPP and Joyce Bawa Mokhtari of the NDC. Churchill's here with me, and we've been dropping a few thoughts here and there. Churchill has dug into the archives and found something interesting he's going to share with us in just a moment. But before that, transact conveniently in this COVID era with an instant card issued by GCB Bank. Make payments, shop online, withdraw cash, get mini statements and more with GCB cards. Now, you don't have to wait another day to collect your bank card. Get it in a few minutes from any GCB branch, be it MasterCard, Visa, Union Pay, International, GCB Ready Cash, and eSwitch cards. Get it right there when you apply for it. Now transact on the over 300 plus GCB ATMs nationwide, other banks' ATMs, point of sale machines at merchant points and online for your international purchases and payments. Apply for your GCB card today. GCB cards as instant as now. GCB, your bank for life. Now you subscribe onto one service and then another, and before you know it, you've lost track of all your subscriptions. That is why MTN is offering you control of your mobile experience with *175#. View, add, or cancel subscriptions that you no longer need in one place without the stress of searching for short codes to stop your subscriptions. That's it, one short code to do it all. Now just dial *175# to access your MTN content manager and follow the prompts, because we're good together. We day for you everywhere you go. Now look, if you've always wanted to study for UK accredited qualifications online, here's your opportunity. Joy FM and Joy News have partnered with the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, the SDG Advisory Unit of the Office of the President, the National Commission for Civic Education, and the National Youth Authority to bring you the Commonwealth Home Individual Management CHIME program. Study for 36 accredited modules across areas like project management, operational management, customer service, business finance, business administration, business management, and communication techniques. From the comfort of your home, your own computer, your own phone, it will be the place where you get this heavily subsidized program, and it's only 185 Ghana cedis. Okay, 185 Ghana cedis for 36 accredited modules and certificates for a greatly subsidized price. Don't miss out on this opportunity to increase your knowledge, increase your employability, and earn UK accredited qualifications during these uncertain times that have been created by COVID-19. No qualifications are required to register. For more information or to register, go to chimeghana.org or just call or send a WhatsApp to 059-460-4444. All right, let's get back to it. Now, Churchill will share what he found in a moment, but first, we're going to give Mr. YBS Samuel the chance to complete his thoughts.
Yes. So you asked me a question about the Montier trio. And I think then, I believe sincerely and very, very strongly that she was pressured to do what she did, to demonstrate political credentials. And if then she was pressured to do that, then indeed she didn't give leadership.
Why do you think she was pressured?
Because it was not normal. What had happened with the Muntio trio, and they are still back on air doing what they're doing. If she actually identified with what they did at the time, something that they did to the point that the Supreme Court had to put them behind bars. A Supreme Court of women was so horrified they had to put them behind bars. And she, a woman, yes, they abused the Supreme Court women. They said they were going to rape them and murder them.
And did you hear anybody ever say
what?
They agree with the content of what they said? Let's speak like
yes, but you agree by going to sign for their release.
Is that fair?
You agree by going to sign for their release.
Is that fair?
Do you mind I end? Because so far that's the way we've conducted this. That's the way we've conducted this. It is my view, my strongly held view, that action was unpardonable. She was pressured to do it. She was trying to demonstrate political credentials. Because indeed, if she was a women's advocate, then what she did was entirely against the norms of supporting women. Entirely against the norms. Because you couldn't have. Those boys had soiled themselves beyond a point where no woman who was for championing women's goals would have done what she did. So I am convinced it was not proper, and at that point she reneged on her duty to women. So it was fair comment that we make that point. And the Montier trio are out there, they are still misbehaving. They are still using very terrible language in political terms. And at that time, the language they used was inexcusable.
Okay.
Now, in conclusion, we are building a nation. We are building a nation. And in building this nation, your mama, candidate Mama, has had the opportunity of running the nation, vice president for 2 years, 4 years as president. Assuming we even limit it to 4 years as president, he's had a term. Ghanaians rejected him soundly and heavily because his policies did not suit Ghanaian growth. He didn't build the nation. One of the key instruments in not building that nation, at a time when his current running mate was standing shoulder to shoulder with him, was free SHS. And they are still describing free SHS as consumption instead of capital. And I insist that when you do that, and you say that the sources of funding is being consumed, then your clear intent is to cancel that program. They will cancel it because they do have a source of funding. They are describing the source of funding as consumption rather than capital. Building our knowledge base is not consumption, it's capital. So that one. Then Nanado is within his 3.5 years, getting to 4 years. The verdict will be out when the two go head to head again. Who is the one who has brought compassionate, competent direction and therefore hope to this country? And who is the one who has mismanaged very incompetently our future as a nation, bringing growth, inherited growth of 14% in 2011 down to 3.7% a few years later.
The voters will decide.
Exactly.
Churchill, what did you find?
Well, Kojo, so when YB was, making his point, he talked about compare that to Dr. Bawumia's, acceptance speech in 2008. So I
didn't say 2008. I'll allow you to read it.
Hold on.
I said perhaps the media are interested in the policy debate of Bawumia because of Bawumia's delivery recently when he was outdoored. That's what I said. I didn't say 2008. I mean the outdooring at Alisa.
So Bawumia's outdooring.
So we can go back.
When you talk about when he was outdoored, what I have done is also to look at the first time.
Very well.
Bawumia
we can still engage on that. My intent when I talked about the policy, so my intent was because Bawumia had just recently been outdoored.
Fair enough. Okay. So
let's listen.
If you look at that particular speech, after all the greetings, says, Mr. Chairman, I see my selection as a victory for our party. I see that as a demonstration of its maturity, open-mindedness, and progressiveness. Mr. Chairman, my professional and career circumstances over the years have confined me to the matters of economic and financial governance of our country. However, even though I may not be known on the political platform, I have been very active at the apex of the economic platform. I am proud to say that I have contributed to the economic achievements of the NPP under the leadership of President Kufuor. Among other things, he starts talking about the things that he has done. And so he talks about all the
roles that he has played. Listen carefully, all the roles that he has played. And it says, as a result of the strong foundation laid by the NPP government, our economy is ready for that big leap. In the wisdom of our flag bearer National Executive Committee of the NPP, the time is right to bring me to the forefront. There's a view that I fully subscribe. I see my selection to serve under our flag bearer as a unique opportunity and a privilege to be part of the vision to move our country forward. As an economist, I will help Nana Akufo-Addo from day one of his presidency to afford the improvements of tomorrow. I have always been an ardent believer in and a practitioner of the liberal democratic values and principles of the Dankwa Busia tradition. Like all of you here, I have been inspired throughout my life by the thinking, deeds, and sacrifices of such great political icons of our country and the past, such as Dr. J.B. Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Obechebi Lamte, K. Busia, Chief Dumbo, and my own late father, Alhaji Mumuni Baumia, to mention just a few. Mr. Chairman, I wish to assure the members and well-wishers of our party that my commitment and loyalty to the party and its ideals and principles are deep and unflinching. And he says, victory cannot be won without you. The party belongs to you and must serve you. It is your sweat, sacrifice, and tenacity over the years that have built this great party. I'll just end by this. It says, Mr. Chairman, as most Ghanaians already know, the vision articulated by the flag bearer of our party is to move Ghana forward by building on the sound economic foundations laid by our great president, His Excellency John Ajay Kufuor. Our flag bearer has committed himself to the economic and social modernization of our country. To achieve this, he has made access to quality education and healthcare, good jobs with good pay his priorities, and as a Ghanaian of northern extraction, I am particularly excited by this initiative. So that's just Baumia speaking in Takrady in August 2008.
So that sounds pretty much like an introduction of himself to the electorate. He even refers to his northern extraction, a number of things which
and finally here it says, Mr. Chairman, I was born in Tamale and I attended Sakasaka Primary School, Tamale Secondary School. I trained in England and Canada as a banker and as an economist. I worked with the IMF, so so if I were to do a content analysis, I probably
would find some similarities.
Yes, I'd say that. Okay, so it looks like in Ghana, if you'd agree, when a running mate is being introduced, this looks like a template. That's it.
Okay. All right. I want to put this question
from there. I would like to state, for the avoidance of doubt, that I find YB's comments rather very disparaging and totally unacceptable. I believe strongly that if you look at Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman and you put her in this room with all of us, she is not somebody on any day that anybody should think that anybody would put pressure on her for what? Political what? I totally disagree, and I hope you'd find cause.
Does she have to sign?
To take his words back. What's your business?
Does she have to
it's
sign?
Her personal prerogative. Listen here. Under any constitutional dispensation, presidents are allowed a discretion to grant pardon. Could you check the list of prisoners who are granted these pardons? They are involved in all sorts of crimes. There are many reasons why these pardons are granted, and they have been for quite some time. It is actually a constitutional thing, and you are allowed within your remit as president so to do. That's first. Secondly, remember that irrespective of what those boys said, heinous as they sounded, they expressed remorse. The process at the Supreme Court went to its logical conclusion. They had apologized, they had paid a fine, they served a sentence for a month, a custodial sentence. Even at the time, we've heard of our presidents who have granted pardons even before trials have started. You see, I believe that Professor Nana is not just a lecturer par excellence, she's also a psychologist. And I listened to her yesterday. In fact, her explanation couldn't have been more succinct. If you and I were to have said similar things here, Kojo, and we've said certain things sometimes that we even are asked to take back our words or apologize for. Can you imagine that someone had said similar things? And then you come and you go through the process. You express deep remorse. You even serve a part of the sentence. I am sure today, if you were to meet even the former Chief Justice, whom I know to be of a similar dispensation as Professor Nana, she would have a very interesting take on the matter. Serious as she took the matters that were spoken of. In recent times, we've had situations of our dear brother who was recently departed, the late Sir John. They had issues with the Supreme Court too. Winston, you are here, you can cross-check on this. There were people even from the NDC who similarly expressed remorse on their behalf and asked that mercy should be tempered with justice.
Let me ask you this.
I think we shouldn't belabor the point. Maybe when you find that you can't find anything to say, you start discouraging things and
very quickly, if you don't mind.
Understand.
Did you sign it as well, the petition?
Most of us did.
Okay, good. So then I can ask you this personally. I can ask you this personally.
And I don't recall anybody asking me.
Do you think that if they had been made to serve the full sentence, it might have acted as more of a deterrent to them and others who might consider making such disparaging remarks about women? Do you consider that if they had been made to serve the full sentence, it would have been a step forward in securing the protection for women that is currently missing in society?
Kojo, can I just state, first and foremost, that this is my very personal perspective on this matter. And I would state that nobody would agree with the things that were said, first and foremost. Secondly, that they served the part of the sentence must count for something. That they expressed remorse must count for something. That they apologized for their utterances has to count for something. Above all that, these were individuals who had no criminal records, past or present.
So it wouldn't have been better if they had served the full sentence.
You see, that's the point. I don't want to, I don't want to belabor the point. Maybe there would have been nothing wrong. Do you understand? But they had served a month of the sentence. They had expressed remorse. Remember that the law itself says that when you show remorse for certain types of offenses, when you make a pledge not to reoffend, you understand? That must count for something. And let's fast forward. Look at the level of disparaging comments, sarcastic, subtle in the application to the person of Professor Nana Ajima that has come from our opponents. Very high members such as my brother YB himself.
What have I said about
who actually
this person?
Should know better.
I haven't said anything about that.
In the Ashanti region. No,
I'm being signaled. I'm being signaled to take another break. I'm so sorry, but we will come back to this thing. Yes.
You can't hide in those remarks because.
Do you want to upgrade your home with the best appliances you could ever get on the market? Do you want to win gifts like hand blenders, coffee makers, rechargeable shaving machines, and so much more? Then don't miss out on the Electroland Stay Safe promotion. Get your NASCO TVs at great discounts and other appliances like that one burner stove which is going for as low as 39 Ghana cedis. Then there's the media appliances like the standing freezer, also greatly discounted. And guess what? Your trusted Japanese brand Toshiba is back in town with the best deals like the inverter fridge and washing machines. So pass by any of our shops nationwide. Please observe all safety protocols that sanitize your hand and wear your face mask. Then shop and get your gifts. Electroland Ghana Limited, home of electronics and appliances.
Are you aware that nearly 200 million people could end up without jobs by the end of the year? Workers and businesses all around the world are facing serious challenges, and Ghana is not an exception. In light of this, Joy Business is organizing a Jobs and Salaries Roundtable dialogue to discuss sustainable solutions to aid in the preservation of current jobs. The theme for this discussion is working towards sustainable jobs during and after COVID-19. Date is 30th July 2020, and the venue is the Labadi Beach Hotel. Time is 10 a.m. On the panel are Bright Rekubrobe, Deputy Minister for Employment, Austin Game, CEO, Game and Game Group, Rose Kakari Anand, Deputy Chairperson, National Labour Commission, Alex Frimpong, CEO, Ghana Employers Association, and Frank Adeto, National Project Coordinator from the International Labour Organization. If you've been affected by the recent layoffs and willing to share your experience or want to participate, call 0596 913438. The Joy Business Jobs and Salaries Roundtable discussion will be live on Joy News, Joy997FM, and myjoyonline.com. Joy Business, empowering, prospering together.
Every day, thousands of men, women, and children all over Ghana need blood transfusion to live again, and you can do something to help.
My name is Kenneth Ashigbe. I am a member of the Ghana Blood Foundation. if indeed blood cannot be manufactured, if blood will be available for someone to live, would be available for you to live, it means someone else decided to donate it. Save blood saves life. So I encourage you to give blood on a regular basis, between 2 or 3 times in a year, and make the world a healthier place to live in.
Contact the National Blood Service on 0277 501 010 for further inquiries. Save blood, saves lives.
At a cost of 15 pesos per message, subscribe and text JF to 8787 to receive SMS news alerts, business, sports and entertainment updates from Joy FM, My Joy Online, and Joy News, your most credible news source.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best on Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
9:51. You're welcome back. All right, thanks for all your text messages. They're brought to us by Glycocritical Illness Plan GSIP. It's in your best interest to survive. Now, look, let me give you your COVID-19 tidbits real quick before we hear some of your tweets. Now, look, avoid touching your face because you can get the virus on your hands from touching surfaces like doorknobs, laptops, and cell phones. Also, avoid touching your mouth, your nose, and your eyes. Avoid biting your fingernails to prevent the virus from getting into your body. Please don't shake hands or hug people for now. And do not share personal items. Cover your mouth and nose when you cough and sneeze. It's important, please, all right? Thank you. All right, so those tidbits were brought to us by Carex in collaboration with the Ghana Medical Association. Carex kills 99% of bacteria. Say yes to life. It's also brought to you by Dole Yogurt. More, I need more. Our Life Soap can save your life. Use it. Magdan Shipping Company Limited, your total logistics partner. Petrosol, cleans fuel in full quantity. And Hollard Life Insurance. Life assurance, we've got you covered. Okay, now as a business manager, how do you undertake the effective recruitment exercise in the midst of COVID-19? What are the best assessment strategies for you during recruitment, and how do you align with the new recruitment trends in 2020 for effective business growth? For answers to all these important questions, join Jobberman on the Talking Talent webinar this Thursday on 30th of July 2020 at 10 a.m. As HR experts delve into recruitment trends in the age of COVID-19. Simply log on to jobberman.com.gh/HR in Ghana to sign up. All right, it'll be fascinating. Join us. Okay then, so let's get back to it. It's 9:53 and it's time for us to wrap this thing up. Okay, 9:53. Some tweets have been coming in, haven't they, Chief?
Yes, a lot of them. So Eugene Pepra says, Mr. Domelevu has no business going back to the office. Flick says, it's unfortunate how all these have panned out. The AG did not do himself a lot of good when he told the board that the only appointing authority can ask him to go on leave, and then turning back to blame the appointing authority. The media is letting us down. Gasma says, yes, without Domelevu, the audit service should be able to undertake audit on, say, COVID expenses, but where it appears the Auditor General has been pushed out and replaced with one the government is comfortable with, then it makes you wonder the integrity of work that would be done. And I'm not sure, Andrew says, let's call a spade a spade. What Dr. Domelevu did, that's Mr. Domelevu, was not best practice. COVID-19 has taught us all to use virtual technologies more in our day-to-day activities. If indeed the Auditor General has something urgent to work on, he could have done it from home. And Hunu Obeng says, if I understand the man in your studio well, Mr. Domelevu is paying for talking about Kroll, telling Ghanaians about that the deal was wrong. Then Tarzan says, the Office of the Auditor General is separate from the Audit Service. The Auditor General is a board member of the Audit Service, not a staff of it. Yes, that's what the Act says. You must be blind not to see the real import of the happenings. Classic examples we said on how corruption fights rather than how to fight corruption. That's from Tomasevich. Tugas 10 says, the owners of Ghana in power, the corruption in this country smells too bad. Both NPP and NDC are the same. And Yao says, that's quite narrow. Governance is to serve the people in an accountable and transparent manner. Keeping people alive is for God to do, even when there are the best hospitals or doctors, people may still die.
Okay, right. So we have a minute and a half each for each of you. Now, I'm hoping that you can squeeze in some comment about what happened in Kafaba. We don't want it to go. We don't want it to go untouched on. But I'll leave it to you. It's your minute and a half. And if you don't mind, we'll start with you, Mr.
I will conclude it.
Of course, yes. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder.
Well, certainly. So let me first indicate that worst comments have been made in recent times by the Ashanti Regional Chairman, by the guy in Bron Ahafo. I would not even mention their names, and YB knows. I am yet to hear anybody condemn those rather very, very, very treacherous and threatening comments that have been made from those quarters, from well-registered members of their party. Secondly, let me indicate, I don't know where he gets his figures from. I have never heard, and I believe that this threat is long overdue. It's time to set that record to sleep. Nobody in the NDC has ever said that they were going to come into power and cancel free SHS. Kojo, when we inherited the single spine salary scheme, nobody knew that the NDC would be able to live up to expectations. But it was continuing from another government, and they shouldered it beautifully. In any case, talking about this same economy that he speaks to so loudly, it is only a mother like Professor Nana who understands what hardship people endure in this country, irrespective of the towns and the long talk. Listen here, they took a country that was growing at 3.6%, and at the end of their tenure, they delivered 0.9% that we all know is from the mid-year budget. They also took an economy with a deficit of 6.3%, and what did they deliver in their own? They said 11.6%. Today, we are looking at a very huge gap even in our loan portfolio. So that is not a matter that is in doubt. It's a matter of public record. We see your finance minister come in on Monday morning and say that they spent 56 million Ghana cedis on serving food. The next day he said there was actually 12 million. These are the sorts of dishonest comments that are coming from this government that must now leave office. And let me state for the avoidance of doubt that John Dramani Mahama and his running mate, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, would run a credible, transparent, honest and sincere government. Right. And of course, to talk about what happened in Kafaba, I am happy that the culprits have at last been apprehended. I look forward to a prosecution fully to serve as a deterrent to the general public. I also look forward to a certain level of education, largely by the media.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you. Mr. Bobby.
Share the sentiments on Kafaba. The police have done marvelously well. Let's see how the prosecutions go. But then, let me make it clear. The petition for the Muntu trial was a political statement simpliciter. You don't have senior political figures lining up to sign petitions to release murderers, even though the president has a clemency. You don't. Regularly every year. I have 1.5 minutes. Why are you worried, Joyce? Why are you worried, Joyce? Please allow. When the political figures of the day who are in power line up to compel the president to take an action that is entitled to any way in the particular case of the Mintio Trio, and Nana Opoku-Agyeman chose to voluntarily walk up to that table and sign that petition, she let everybody down.
Any mother
she
would
let
understand
the side
the
down.
Of any mother in
Secondly,
to
wrap up.
Our time is
up. You should have given me my fair
Thanks for having us.
It was a political statement.
Thank you.
It was a political
statement. I have nothing else to say.
I thank you both. This could go on forever. I thank you both for making the time to be with us on the Super Morning Show. Well, it's time for us to wrap up, and I was hoping we could do this with one of our listeners, but I'm told we didn't have the time for that. Anyway, tomorrow we'll be seeing the premiere of a music video that will feature one of the biggest musical artists in the world and one of the biggest musical artists in Ghana. Beyonce and Shatta Wale's Already comes out tomorrow. Let's enjoy it. Thank you and goodbye.
Joy 99.7 FM.
King, you know it. King already, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. My soul got a king body. Body gon' shine, bling, bling body. Calling all the shots, ring body. Crown on your head, got a king body. Only the king, you a king, you know it. King already, my baby, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. Shine already, time already. Shine already, it's time already. Shine already, it's time already. Shine already, it's time already. Gotta stop it, say no, no, no. Royalty, say no, 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 no. Gotta stop it, say go, go, go. Bubble up and watch it go, go, go. Oh yeah, we rule like it. Everybody on the conquer, yeah. Every king be stronger, yeah. They rule them long.
Hello and welcome to Joy Headline News at 10 with me, Hannah Odami. Coming up, NDC MP candidates for the Wutu Senya East constituency. Now Koyo Okuno says the actions of the MP for the area, Ha Kumsing, who fired warning shots at the Steps to Christ registration center at Kaswa, was uncalled for. Madam Kumsing has explained she fired the warning shots because she felt threatened.